Hello everyone, today's topic is the female reproductive system. Like male reproductive system, it also has two parts. The external genitalia part and the internal structure, inside portion. The function of the external genitalia is twofold. First one is to enable sperm to enter the body, and second one is to protect the internal genital organs. This part is the external part with mons pubis, clitoris, labia minora, labia majora and vaginal opening. And this is the urinary bladder. And this part is the uterus. And this part is fallopian tube and ovary. Now let's start with the external genitalia part. The external genitalia is also known as vulva. Let us start with the mons pubis part. This is the triangular part of fatty tissue, and it covers the pubic bone. The labia majora, this part, it encloses and protects the other external reproductive parts. It has sweat and oil secreting glands. And just after labia majora, labia minora is there. The labia minora surrounds the opening of vagina. Labia minora is very sensitive part. In this diagram, this part is labia majora, this part is labia minora. Then comes clitoris. It has a shaft and a swollen structure known as glans. Two labia minora meet at the clitoris. Clitoris is a very small and sensitive protrusion, and it is covered by a fold of skin called the prepuce. This prepuce you can compare with the foreskin at the end of the penis. This is the urethral opening, that is to pass urine, and this part is the vaginal opening. This vaginal opening may be covered by a thin sheet known as hymen. People used to think that the intact hymen is the sign of virginity. But some women are born without hymen. Hymen can be perforated by many different events. Athletes who are very active in sports, their hymen may rupture anytime. These two small glands are Bartholin glands. They secrete mucus. Now next is the internal reproductive organs. This is the internal structure of the female reproductive system. The vagina is made out of fibrous and muscular tissue. It is a canal sort of thing from outside of the body to the cervix of the uterus. It is also known as the birth canal. The semen containing spermatozoa is ejaculated from the male penis into the vagina, and this is the pathway of the sperms. This transverse ridges inside the vaginal canal is known as vaginal rugae. Because of this vaginal rugae, this vagina is able to come back to its original position after stretching. And after childbirth, the number of vaginal rugae decreases. The lower part of the uterus is known as the cervix. This narrow canal is the cervical canal. It connects the lumen of the vagina and the uterine cavity. Several methods of contraception, including cervical caps and cervical diaphragms, they block this cervical canal and they prevent the entry of sperm inside the uterus. So this canal acts as a safety precaution against foreign bodies entering the uterus, except sperms. During childbirth, the cervix dilates to accommodate the passage of the fetus. This dilation is a sign of labor. The uterus or womb can be divided into 4 regions. We have spoken about the cervix and cervical canal. Then comes the corpus, the body of the uterus, and the fundus. This is the fundus, the uppermost rounded portion of the uterus. The uterus has 3 layers. The innermost layer is known as endometrium. Then comes myometrium, and the outermost is known as the perimetrium. Let's see these 3 layers in detail. This part is the endometrium. It consists of uterine glands. In each menstruation cycle, the superficial layer of this endometrium is shed and reconstituted out of underlying basal layer. The middle layer is the myometrium. It is made out of smooth muscle cells, and its main function is to induce uterine contraction. The outermost layer is known as the perimetrium. There is a layer of fibrous and fatty connective tissue surrounding the uterus. This is known as parametrium. So perimetrium and parametrium, these 2 terms are different. This parametrium connects the uterus to other tissues of the pelvis. The function of the uterus is to accept a fertilized ovum. The fertilized ovum divides to become a blastocyst, which implants into the endometrium. The uterus also directs blood flow to the pelvis and ovaries, and also to the external genitals. If the egg does not get embedded into the wall of the uterus, then a female begins menstruation. The fallopian tubes allow the passage of an egg from the ovary to the uterus. It is composed of 4 parts. This part is known as the fimbria. Next part is infundibulum. First is fimbria, then infundibulum. Ampulla is the main portion of the tube, and the narrow portion which is connected to the uterus is known as isthmus. So the 4 parts are fimbria, infundibulum, ampulla, and isthmus. When ovulation is about to happen, the sex hormones activate the fimbria, this part, causing them to swell with blood and hit the ovary. Not proper hitting, it is a gentle sweeping motion to collect the oocyte that is released from the ovary. And this fimbria part sweeps this into the fallopian tube, infundibulum, and then it travels to ampulla and isthmus. Here it gets fertilized with sperms. After the fallopian tube, now let us come to the ovaries. It secretes both estrogen and progesterone into the blood. So it is both exocrine as well as endocrine. Ovaries are with follicles. Follicles are hollow balls of cells and they contain eggs, that is premature eggs. And they are present in the ovaries at birth. There are usually 1.5 to 5 lakhs of follicles at the time. And by the beginning of a female's reproductive life, the number of these follicles fallen down to 34,000-35,000. And this number continues to decrease thereafter. As a female ages, the follicles gradually diminish in number until the menopause. We will discuss in detail about ovaries in some other video. Please see that video. So this is all about the female reproductive system. Hope you have liked the video. Please like it, share and subscribe to our channel. And thank you for watching.